Maya or illusion. Silence of the Heart, Robert Adams. Chapter 7. Everything that you feel, hear, touch, smell, and taste is Maya. Everything is Maya, the grand illusion. Most of us really do not understand what Maya is. My trying to explain Maya is Maya itself. Everything that your eyes behold, that you believe, everything that you believe is so important is only Maya. Everything that you hear, everything that you read, everything that you try to do to better yourself is also Maya. The water in the mirage, that is Maya. Something that appears to be real, but upon investigation, you find it is not. The whole world is like that. The whole universe is like that. So do not be fooled again. Do not take anything seriously. Turn it within. Do not react. The turmoil, the chaos that appears to be in the world, but it is not truth. It is not reality. It is something that comes and goes. This too shall pass. But your center is God, consciousness, absolute reality, Brahman. Those are all synonymous. That is the peace that exists. The grand illusion, what we call Maya, is very powerful, or so it appears. It grabs you in its clutches and it makes you believe that things are happening in this world. It makes you believe that things are moving and changing. That is the picture that it shows you. There are very few people who can go through a day without being affected by Maya. Think about yourself. Just today, how have you been affected by Maya? Believing something about your body or about somebody else, or about a situation in your life, or about the world, or about the universe, and feeling it. That is Maya. Here's an example. I told this story before. One day, Buddha and his chief disciple, Narada, were walking along a country road. Buddha was discussing Maya. He explained that the tree, the river, the mountains, the beauty, all the bugs, the mosquitoes, the animals, all of it was Maya. And Narada said, "But Master, how can this be? It sounds virtually impossible. I can grab a tree, I can grab your arm, I can get stung by a mosquito. I feel this thing. There is a bump on my arm. How can this be an illusion? I do not understand." And Buddha said, "I am thirsty. Go get me a glass of water." There was a town nearby, so Narada went to the town and knocked on the door on the first house he saw. An old lady opened the door and she said, "What do you want?" Narada said, "My master would like a glass of water." She looked him over and saw that he was handsome, well built, healthy, and she said, "Come in." He went into her house and there was a beautiful lady sitting on a chair there. The woman said, "Hey, this is my daughter. Isn't she beautiful?" Narada was astounded at her beauty. He said, "She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen." The old lady said, "How would you like to marry her?" And Narada said, "Why not?" So he married the girl. They had a big wedding, and all the people in the village came. The next day, he got a job. He was a potter by trade, and he made beautiful pots out of clay, and he was earning a living. After the first year, they had a child, and he was able to afford a beautiful house. He had a mortgage payment, and he had to pay taxes on that house. So he had to work harder, and then he hired people to help him. He had employees, and he had to pay them salaries out of and taxes, workers' compensation, and everything else. Then, after 2 years passed, he had another child. He was completely enmeshed in the family. Some days were good and some days were bad. A couple more years went by, 3 or 4 years, 5 years. One day there was a huge hurricane. a very powerful hurricane that came into town and the place got flooded. Narada said, "What are we going to do? All of the furniture is being ruined. Everything that he believed he owned was getting wet, totally ruined." He took his family up on the roof. There was a clothesline on the roof. All hung onto this clothesline. The hurricane became stronger and stronger and stronger. His mother-in-law got washed away by the flood. Narada said, "I guess we did not need her anyway, for she was old." Joking, of course. Telling the story, Robert is joking when he said that. But the hurricane was still very strong, and his wife and two children were holding on. One of the children was washed away, and Narada became very distraught. He was holding on to his wife. Then the other child washed away. He became very upset. He's holding on to his wife, but he lost his children. And he started crying, "What happened to my family? They are all gone." When his wife got washed away, everything that we've worked for, everything that we built here, everything that we have accomplished, it's all gone. Everything that we strived for is gone. I'm going to end it all myself. So he let go of the rope and went into the river, into the flood. The very next moment, he found himself sitting next to the Buddha with a glass of water. He looked at the Buddha, and the Buddha said, "It's about time you brought me that water." And Narada looked at Buddha and said, "I think I now understand what Maya is." So you could say that by the power of the Buddha, there are many stories like this in Buddhism, that a Buddha, a true Buddha, can teach you in so many different ways. And of course, a Buddha can work miracles. A Buddha can appear at different places at the same time. There's no distance to a Buddha, so forth and so on. And a Buddha can put you in a situation where, almost in a dream state, where you believe that something is real when it's not. So basically, this monk was given this vision. People say that this happens sometimes when people smoke that DMT stuff. There's stories where somebody will smoke DMT and they'll go into another life and live an entire life and get a job and get a family and all these things, and suddenly they'll pop back into this life and find out that they were only gone for 15 minutes. And that other life was as real, if not more real, than this life. So that's an interesting fact about DMT. And so Buddha could do that too. Buddha could teach you by giving you this vision of what could have been. And so Buddha taught this guy Narada by letting him think he was going to get a glass of water. And during that time he went to get a glass of water, he saw the vision of himself marrying somebody's daughter and having two kids and buying a house and getting a job and starting a business and hiring people. And then a flood came and washed away all his business, his house, his children, his wife, and ultimately himself. And then when he supposedly died, he woke up sitting next to Buddha with a glass of water, and he realized that that was an entire dream, that it wasn't real. So therefore he looks at his life now and he says, "I grew up in this little village. I had a mother, had a father. I was called to become a monk. I heard about, Buddha. I joined his Sangha. I shaved my head. I became a monk. In a short while, was able to become Buddha's assistant and right hand man. And I'm walking beside Buddha, and he sent me to get a glass of water. But that is as illusionary, that is as untrue as him marrying the daughter and starting the business and losing his children. So that's what Buddha was showing him. That same with the dream. At night, we dream. Sometimes we have very realistic dreams, and then we wake up and we're like, wow, oh my God, I'm glad that was just a dream. But did we just wake up in another dream? You know, who's to say if we die in this world that we wake up in bed somewhere and think, oh my God, that was just a dream, you know? Um, and that the dream is going to continue until we realize that we are the dreamer of the dreams. There is no personal self that is dreaming this dream. There's just dreaming happening. And it is ultimately the supreme self, the supreme source. It is pure consciousness that is dreaming these dreams. And then we can choose to stop dreaming and rest in the bliss of knowing the self. This is just like us. We become so enmeshed in the world. Everything bothers us. We become angry. We become upset. But the truth is, you are not this Maya. You are the absolute reality. You are total awareness. You are the self. Know who you are and wake up. Awaken and be free. It is so simple. Words make it so complicated. The fact is that you were never born and you will never die. There is no power that sustains you, maintains you, for you do not exist in the way you appear. The same is true for the whole universe. It is just a reflection, it is an optical illusion, like the mirage in the water. The water is the mirage. They are both the same. The water is the mirage, and the mirage is the water. So the appearance is of water, but when you try to grab it, you grab sand. Everything you grab in this world is like sand. It seems so real. And then your emotions grab a hold of it and give it more power so that the Maya becomes stronger and stronger until you are in such a state that it takes you many incarnations to get rid of all your fears and your frustrations, your thoughts about the past, your samskaras. You have made all these things real for you, but they do not exist. You have done it to yourself. Therefore, when you leave your body, you appear to go through an astral plane and you take rest. You meet your long lost relatives that you could not stand when you were on earth. And then you go onwards and you go back into a body again and you continue and continue all these lives, but it is a lie. You are making it the truth. It is your truth because you believe in it, and then you refuse to let it go. Of course, you have got a choice, and this is your choice. Whom shall I follow this day, God or Mammon? That's a biblical quote, which simply means following Mammon is following the way of the world of illusion, which keeps tricking you, making you believe you should do this and do that and go here and go there, when you should follow God. You are following the self. You are following the Dharma. You will no longer feel sorry for yourself. You will no longer feel guilty about the sins of commission and the sins of omission of the past. Your mind becomes clear, peaceful. Your mind becomes like a mirror. And since the mirror is unable to see itself, it sees its reflection in the world. It will see peace, love, harmony, and joy. As you continue to work on yourself this way, the day comes when all of this is gone. You become nothing, as good as nothing. You go beyond nothingness. It is inevitable, something that cannot be explained, for there are no words or thoughts to understand this. Yet you have got it within you. Everything you need is within you. You are one. One of the things that you have to work on yourself is passion. You must give up all passions for this world and the things in it. You must develop dispassion. Now, to some of you, this sounds terrible, not to have passion for the things of the world, never to be passionately in love. What I am referring to have dispassion for this world of Maya, is to have total passion for the self, or awareness, or consciousness, or the supreme source. So there are two ways of looking at this world. One is Maya, the grand illusion. You want nothing to do with this. This is what creates problems. This appears to create animosity and sorrow. But when there is a real world, the world of the self, the world of bliss, the world of total joy, unalloyed peace and happiness, this is what you really are. This is your real nature. You have always been this, and you will always be this. Forget about the past. Do not worry about the future. Have total faith and joy in yourself. Only when you can understand yourself as all-pervading consciousness can you possibly understand all the universe. It is an emanation of your mind. Everything that you see comes out of you. You are the creator. You are the God, Avatar, Atma, all the gods that you have ever heard about: Buddha, Krishna, Jehovah, Allah, Jesus. They are all you. You are that. You are nothing else but that. You have always been that. Tat Vam Asi. This is you. Do not concern yourself about this world, for the mortal man can never understand this world at all. This world appears very confusing, very chaotic. There seems to be so many wonderful things in the world, and yet there seems to be so much destruction. Man's and humanity to man. Dastardly things going on everywhere, intermingled with the beauty and the joy of the world. It becomes very confusing to the mortal man or woman. When you see yourself getting older and older, all your material plans have gone by the wayside. And even if you have accomplished great things and you have to leave them when it's time to go. You start to think to yourself, what is life all about? Who am I? What am I really? What is the source of everything? And no one has ever explained these things to you. So you believe that life is a chance that you have been born. You have gone through prevailing conditions. You get old and you die, and you have no idea what is going on. Therefore, I say to you, leave the world alone. Do not believe that you have to bring peace to the world. There is a greater power that knows the way, that takes care of this world, this universe, and it needs no help from you. The only way you can help this world is by awakening, becoming self-realized. How do you help this world? By becoming self-realized. When you become self-realized, you know you are no longer a body. You are all-pervading consciousness. You are absolute reality. You are boundless space. You become the trees, the mountains, the rivers, the animals, the insects, and the birds. You have become everything. You are the self, the imperishable, immutable self. But when you can't see this, you act like an independent agent, thinking you're going to make this a better world in which to live, sticking up for your rights, trying to change people's opinions, protesting about this and about that. I admit all these things are necessary in the world, but this is what Maya is all about. Maya is a wonderful illusion. It makes you believe you got to do something to change things in this world. But I assure you, nothing will ever change. It will appear to change for a while. Things will appear slightly better at times, and they'll be slightly worse at times. There will be cataclysms, destructions, all sorts of things happening to this world. This is the nature of the world. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. Yet at the same time, you are the world. I always contradict myself. This is the teaching. It is total contradiction. But the way reality is, let go of everything. Know yourself as omnipotence, and you will know total happiness and total freedom. Everything begins to take on a projection of yourself. And since you are beginning to discover that you are pure consciousness, the world starts becoming pure consciousness. Images are the world. Prior to your awakening, you have been identifying with the images, and you have no idea that there is a screen behind it. Oh, you know it's somewhere in your mind. You have a slight image of the screen, but you don't think of that because the images are very entertaining. You watch a love movie or a war movie or this kind of movie or that kind of movie, and you get all wrapped up in the objects. But of course, if you try to go up to the screen and grab the objects, you're going to grab a screen. This is what happens when you are awakened. You realize that you are that screen, you are that consciousness, and you realize that everything in the world, everything, the whole universe, including God, is so superimposed upon you. It is not reality, it is a superimposition. But you identify with the screen, which is consciousness, and you tolerate the superimposition. Yet you realize that it is not you. You have nothing to do with it, and you do not identify with it. So, in the same instance, your body goes through all kinds of experiences, good and bad and in between. But you are always aware that you are not the body, and nobody existed, and nobody exists for you. You know in reality that there is no superimposition at all. It appears to exist, but it does not. It is like hypnosis. You are hypnotized to believe that a white poodle is following you. And sure enough, when you wake up out of your hypnosis, you keep looking back and you actually see a white poodle. Your mind will actually picture a white poodle and you will believe it is real. Nobody else will see it, but you will until the hypnosis wears off. In the same way, we see people, places, and things, and they appear to be real to us. We identify with them, we suffer accordingly, but as you practice every morning, catching yourself between waking up and thoughts coming little by little, slowly but surely, you'll begin to realize yourself more and more. And the day will come when you will awaken. Never mind how long it takes. Do not look at time. Think of how long it took you to be what you are now. Be yourself. Identify with your reality. Try to be yourself at all times. what Why do you appear to have a body if you don't have one? Why do you appear to be playing these games if they are not real? The answer is you are not playing any games and there is no body doing anything. This is something difficult for most people to comprehend. Nothing at all is happening, but I move, I swim, I play golf, I go to work, I watch television, I do all these things. These things appear to be happening. You have to remember the question, to whom are they happening? Who is experiencing this? And of course, we remember it is the ego that is experiencing all of this. When you remember again that you have no ego, there is no ego, and the ego never existed. If it did, where did it come from? Who is its creator? Whatever you believe in, there has to be a creator to have created it. If you believe you're a human, something created you. You say your parents created you, and then you go back in time, who created them and who created them. You go back to the very beginning. Everything you believe in, there has to be a cause. Even when I tell you there is no cause, therefore there cannot be an effect. You think I am crazy, and I am. Who wants to be sane? To the sane means you conform to society and the happenings of the world. You think alike. I can assure you nothing exists. I can assure you when you think about nothing, and nothing that you are thinking about does not exist. Once you think about nothing, you spoil it because you make nothing into a something. Be aware of the world. Be aware that the world is egoless. The world has no cause, so where is the effect? If there is no effect, there is no cause. How could the world have a cause? Where would it come from? When you dream, you can say that our dream has a cause. You are the cause because you are dreaming. But can you say that while you are dreaming? While you are dreaming, you are in a dream. You believe that the world has a cause, like everything else does. And you get involved in everyday activities in the dream. You have good experiences and you have bad experiences. And then I come along and I tell you that you are dreaming, but you do not believe me. So I say, I'll show you if I am dreaming, Robert. And you pinch me and I say, ow. And you say, see, is that a dream? And I try to explain to you that it is a dream. And you pinched me in a dream, but you don't believe it. You think it is real. Then you go across the street, and then you're walking down the street, and a car hits you, and you are bleeding all over the street. And I run over and I tell you, you are dreaming. Don't be too upset. It's okay. You start cursing at me and shaking your fist at me. How can you say that? Look at me, I'm bleeding all over the place. Then something funny happens. You wake up. Where does the dream go? Where does the blood go? Where did the car go that hit you? Think of the personal experiences that are upsetting you right now. Think of the problems that you think you have. Even while I am talking to you, some of your minds are thinking of something else. Problems that you believe are real. You're thinking of who you like and who you don't like, what you are going to eat for dinner tonight. All these thoughts come to you because you have not trained yourself how to deal with these thoughts, and you have got preconceived ideas. You have got concepts. As an example, you come and you look at me. You don't see me afresh and new like you see yourself, but you can compare me. You compare me with Krishnamurti or with this guy or that guy or Ramana Maharshi, Nisargadatta, or the garbage cleaner, the janitor, whoever you wish to compare me to. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Your mind becomes filled with preconceived ideas. I am really nobody. I am nothing special. So what you see in me is not real. You are seeing your own projections. You are seeing yourself, in other words. And if you have not developed yourself and have awakened to pure consciousness, then you are seeing something worldly. And you make comparisons. You say, I like, I don't like, this is good, this is bad, and so forth. You have to take control of these thoughts. You've got to realize that your mind and your body are not your friend. They feed you wrong information. They appear right for a while and then it becomes wrong again. Things appear to be right for a while and they become wrong again. Do not listen to your mind. Stop the thoughts before they get to the edge of your nose. That's all I've got to say. Yeah, I don't know how many chapters I'm going to read out of this book. I just felt compelled to read some today. Once again, after 25 years of serious spiritual seeking and suffering, the highest truth is there is no. The seeker was an illusion. The seeker, the 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 thought that something was missing and something had to be found. Where did that thought arise? Who did that thought arise to? Buddha said, "You are what you think. You are what you think. Everything arises with the mind. With the mind, you create the world. Every day we're going through this world, creating it. You can say projecting onto it, right? Look out that window. Is it a good day or is it a bad day? It's just a day. A day is arising. A sun is shining. Trees are blowing in the wind. I see greenness. I see blue sky. I see cloud. But then when the mind steps in, it's a good day. It's a bad day. I should be doing something. I should not be doing something. I need to rest because I have to work this week. But I gotta wash clothes. I should be cleaning. I'm gonna have some friends over. I'm not gonna have some friends over. I feel guilty because I should call my relatives or I should do something. All these thoughts cloud and block out. That's the Maya. That's the grand illusion. That's one concept of it or one layer of it. It's none of those things. It's just a sun shining and a tree treeing and a grass grassing and wind winding and this illusionary self being and thoughts arising and then when the ego gets involved, the illusionary ego says, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I'm worried about next week. Oh, remember 5 years ago when this thing happened? Oh, remember in my childhood when my dad said this? Or remember when somebody did this to me or this happened, or maybe in the future there's going to be a hurricane or a flood or an earthquake or a volcano going off. Maybe I should worry about that. Does my boss like me? Does my boss not like me? Am I going to get a raise? Am I not going to get a raise? Oh, that's a whole layer of egoic mind, Maya, illusion, imagination that's placed. That's the cloud. Those thoughts are the cloud that blocks out the sun. The brilliant sun of wisdom, the brilliant sun of awakening, the brilliant sun of truth. And you have to break through all that illusionary egoic thoughts, fears, doubts, worry, the past, the future. You break through those clouds by realizing that they're not true. Those are not your thoughts. Those are rising from an ego that doesn't exist. And suddenly, there's only the brilliant sun of wisdom, the brilliant shining sunshine of truth. And it's judgeless, choiceless. There's nothing to expand upon it. There's no thoughts to be had about it. It's just a brilliant sun of awareness shining forever as a supreme source, and you are that. You have always been that. You never cannot be that. Whether we realize that in this life or in 1,000 lifetimes. Once you break through that, you suffer less and you understand more.